I have better arguments now.
Do you? Do you? Also, say hi to the people of the internet because we are now live.
Hi to the people of the internet because we are now live.
Hello.
It's either that or the
Hello.
voices in my head.
Oh,
I mean, that is very much plausible as well.
Yeah,
we
we'll,
can have so many voices.
we'll see which one it is later. But for now, you might be wondering why I have summoned you all here.
your mouth
I
doesn't
mean-
move.
I mean, I'm not wondering. Like this.
I'm also not wondering.
This has been in the works for like 3 months now.
Listen, shut up. They don't need to know that. Through only partial fault of my own, okay? I will admit partial credit to this, okay? However, we are now here,
Yay.
and we're doing Candlekeep Mysteries. A game of games, of one-shots. It's an anthology. And
Cool.
because of that, it's gonna be weird.
We love weird.
All
Well,
the characters are appropriately weird as well.
because of that, and the people who I have chosen to represent the party.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting choices you've made here.
I think that should be on the cover of my book, of my biography at some point. But all of you, through reasons that you will bestow upon me in moments, have found yourself venturing towards Candlekeep, which is a massive fortress city, the large portion of which is a library, that is located in the southern Sword Coast, on the western shores of Faerun. It is a collection of knowledge and prophecies, even, which over centuries accumulated a whole group of people, the monks who call themselves the Avowed, who both study and curate this collection, and some of them even specialize in whatever questions you might have for them.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is this the same people who was like doing terrible things to Calliope back in the day?
Maybe.
Okay.
Let's call the people who did terrible things to Calliope a subsection,
Okay.
a flavorful group. And let's move on from that question to where all of you find yourself in a line to the entrance to the large gates. So, Candlekeep is notorious for they ask a price of not coin, but knowledge to enter. And let's go one by one and both introduce the character that you've brought today and what your motivation is. We'll get through what you're bringing once it's your turn.
Okay.
Who's going first?
Who's first in line?
lady in the green dress.
Well, lady in the green dress.
That's not a green dress.
That's the artwork you gave me, sir.
I was
Oh, I
talking
thought-
about
oh.
this. It's not about that.
Okay. Fine. They, okay. So you
Looking
see...
for information.
Yes, you see, a, robed man, standing in the middle of the gates.
Why is he
Why does-
spooky?
Why does he look like a Sith Inquisitor?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Because price of being able to cast level 9 spells is very, very steep.
Oof.
You recognize the markings and the robes as one of an archmage. And you, of course, heard of it. as
Okay,
Can-
so hold up for just a second.
yes.
He's an archmage, right? Like the most powerful guy ever, right? This might just be my messed up mentality,
Well,
but
he is.
but think about this, right? If you were the most powerful person ever, why would you wear anything but like the most comfortable? Like this guy's showing up to work in gray sweats. Let's all just acknowledge the fact that this is not an accurate depiction. Because who's gonna tell him no?
So he is not the archmage. He is
Okay.
an archmage.
Okay.
Although you are correct, those things are very, very powerful. But yes, so you know that Avowed, the monks who run Candlekeep, do indeed, have very powerful spellcasters in their ranks. In fact, you've heard something about that they have basically great readers, all of which, if not archmages, then master sages, which is a step below.
Okay.
But you do know that it is a custom for one of the archmages of the senior Avowed to oversee the entrance of prospective visitors to the Court of Air. Next to him, you also see... So, you see the archmage kind of announce, next, and this woman with a staff comes in, and she kind of pulls out a couple of what clearly look like wizard spell books, most of them decayed and covered in dust. You're pretty sure that those were, acquired posthumously. He looks at a book and throws it down on the ground. He looks at another one, throws it down on the ground. He looks at another one and gives it to another guy. And this is a much shorter fella with a snow white beard who is checking his glasses and is quickly perusing the book. Let's see if we have a handout. Yes.
Is it Santa?
It's a dwarvish Santa.
Nice.
Fanta.
Yes. And he quickly peruses the spell book. He flips a couple pages, and then he kind of shuts it with two hands, looks at the archmage, and shakes his head. No dice. And she is basically turned away. You also see as the line is moving, and this woman is very frustratedly kind of cursing under her breath in what you can only understand as animal noises.
I understand them.
Then you understand all sorts of curses. She has enumerated at least a dozen of different animal feces.
Would the animal noises count as Sylvan?
No, they would be druidic.
Druidic.
Okay. Worth shot.
You also see a guy slooped next to a tower, looking incredibly bored. Let's introduce you to the Gate Warden, a Leonin paladin. Who is the reason why people choose to leave cursing, rather than forcing their way through? However, from where you're standing, you see that his disposition is quite, let's say, sour. Like, he is not going to move a muscle unless he has to. He is a cop, always a day away from retirement.
You're only a day away.
Every day. So yeah, would you like to take over now, or do you want me to actually go through those people that I've put here just for absolute flavor and didn't prepare anything for?
Oh,
The second one, of course.
I would love to hear. Like, I want names, backstories, where they're
Yeah.
from.
I want all of it.
Like, I want a description of their clothes, how worn out their shoes are.
All right. This woman.
I do not actually want that. Please don't.
That woman reeks of smoke and her clothes are singed. She has a collection of books that are either for some reason singed, or on the other hand, surprisingly, covered in like swamp grime. She also has a little child wearing similarly deprecated clothing. She goes to the Archmage and dumps a pile of books. She seems to understand none of their meaning or value. He peruses some of them and actually lets them through.
Very interesting.
You might learn about them later. Now that I've had to make something up for them. This guy is holding a scroll tube made of bone. And he seems, when he approaches, he is not like the others. It seems like the sage is already aware of his, of who he is. And with his mighty stature, he stands up on a small box and reaches for that scroll tube. You see him unroll a torn-out page, yellowed from centuries of decay, and you see a smile adorn his face as he gives a coin pouch to this guy, and, he rides away, back the way he came. The sage quickly pockets the scroll and chimes a little bell. The Archmage loudly announces, "Next!"
Hello, kind sir. I was told to give this book to you.
What is it? He reaches out.
It's a self-help book. It's called Voice of the Tempest. My journey from timid, overthinking druid to the leader of the Ashari. I was told to tell you it's from another dimension, whatever that means.
As you say self-help, his expression sours and he looks at you. Only might can help you. Might or knowledge. But when he starts looking down on you, as he does on everybody, the sage quickly jumps into the conversation. He's like, did you say another dimension? And you see his eyes practically shining.
Yes, the man that gave it to me said that it was from a place called Exandria, or something like that.
He opens the book that he carries and starts quickly listing, through. He goes to the table of contents and then checks a couple pages, and he mutters Exandria, and he is striking his beard with one hand, holding his book by the other. I've never heard of such a place. And he looks up at Nicholas. Of course we can accept such a treasure. The tall archmage, he sighs and rolls his eyes and just kind of face palms and, fine, as long as you don't cause any trouble.
Well, no, sir. I would never dream of it.
And he steps away. The sage practically snaps the book from your hands and, immediately starts very quickly going through pages and comparing notes to whatever his book might hold.
This isn't the gate, is it?
Yes, it is.
Like the one that has the thing?
No.
Okay. Didn't think so.
You can stand in the corner there, here.
Okay.
But also, please describe your character.
Enid is currently a kobold druid. She's got a bit of a pug face. a really, really short snout that she has. She doesn't hold herself very highly, but she does find herself amazed by all things nature. So yeah, that's pretty much her.
Very good. All right. Next, as the Archmage steps back and kind of mutters something under his breath, he looks at you, next person.
Yes, my name is Arty. Good to meet you. I'm kidding. I am not. This is not going to be my voice. I just had a balloon full of helium and I thought I'd make it run for a second, so it's just going to be just a second until it wears out.
So as you step towards the Archmage, I didn't question it for a second, Gabby. That says something about you, not about me.
I literally thought that was gonna be the voice.
Yeah.
I thought he just like slapped on a voice changer and went for it. I was like, okay.
Yeah. So, Arty, as you step in and you start talking, you realize that your voice box is slightly off, and you're just like, 1 second, and you kind of tighten the screws that are...
Just a second, I'm trying to get this back down. I'm not sure if it's down yet. Nope, not done yet. Let me hit a high note real quick.
Why'd you mute?
The neighbors were not prepared for that. Rest in peace, headphone users.
If you did mute, it wasn't picked up, actually.
I did mute.
Oh.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah. Arty, your mechanical constitution surprises him. It's very rare one of your kind makes it to Sword Coast.
Reading sentient. My name. No. My designation. No. I am Construct 45871-2. Artificial Bard. Purpose. Designation. Arty. I have come to this place seeking information as to how to maintain my being. I have brought as a offering to your establishment these my blueprints. They are unique. I am a failed prototype, but one that has achieved sentience and seeks to maintain his own existence within this world.
As you say that, a little tiny drone flies to the sage. It's one of these tiny little things. Isn't it adorable?
It's delightful.
Yes. It flies in, sounding of buzzing and cock clicks, and as it reaches the sage, he puts up the scroll that was delivered. This thing snatches it and flies back. But as you explain that your situation to the Archmage, she's like, "How peculiar! I have never seen one so advanced. Of course, I don't dabble in mechanus apparati, but you say you're a bard?"
Yes, I specialize in the imitation of others' musical talents.
He goes into small philosophical pondering of what would Malil say of such a device, and then the sage is like, "Well, our constructs are becoming quite advanced. Perhaps we can learn something from the constitution of this machine."
As I said, I am a failed prototype, and since I left my creator, I have made several alterations to my person to try to increase my survivability and function within this world, as I found insufficient, found myself to be insufficient in terms of interacting with people. Somehow, though, I was considered good enough to be released, but not copied.
Interesting. And Archmage starts debating, well, you must be a creation more of Malil. And the sage is like, nonsense, blasphemy, it's obviously a machine of God imitating music. And they start arguing. And then Kalung just kind of loudly clears his throat. And both of these kind of shut up and say, well, observing your evolution might be fruitful for some of our sages. You may enter.
Your welcome is appreciated. Thank you.
Oh god. You go for a hug immediately.
Absolutely.
That's aggressive negotiation strategies.
Oh, isn't it? Isn't it just?
All right.
Look at how hot I am. Let's go.
Yes, Zenrian. Is that what you say to the Archmage?
Absolutely.
All right, as you say to the Archmage, look how hot I am. Let's go. He is actually he is not impressed. He waves his hand and says, "Oh, honey, you couldn't
Not the oh honey.
you couldn't land a man of my stature in a millennia."
Wait. Hold on. Do I have something for this? I sure don't. Okay. Thank you, Arty, for that. All right. Well, since I am apparently not attractive, I will use my intellect to now win you over. I am a map maker. I come from the Deep Wilds, and I come bearing a map of the Deep Wilds.
The Deep Wilds. I have some entries here. And he Sage again, flips some pages in his book. What region have you mapped? I believe our collections are sparse, as very few people regain their sanity after traveling the Fey Realms.
I mapped the southern islands of the Deep Wilds, the southern coast.
He looks through a large table, using his finger to check. He's like, "Oh, indeed, those haven't been included in our collection." Very well. He takes the maps and allows you to pass in.
Excellent.
All right. So Lichorn will walk up towards these three, looking at the Archmage with like a kind smile on his face, until he digs out a small notebook from his bag and he presents it with the words that, this is my experience chasing down something rather elusive. It's a legend. I've only seen some. I've never interacted with it myself, but I've heard the stories. It's about a certain trading club that can travel between dimensions, and it can offer you anything with an appropriate price. I have seen what it's done to some people that I know, but I've never once found it myself, and it seems to appear only before a selected few with fate. I've been chasing after this, all rumors, all the things that I've heard. I've detailed it all in this book of mine, and I seek to find more information on that from here.
He looks you up and down, and he actually comes over and he starts looking at you. And he takes this book and passes it on to the sage, who is like, starts muttering, "Oh, this would be wonderful to compare the book from the other dimension, the Exodia dimension, yeah, the one that you mentioned earlier." And he starts learning, and this Archmage is like, For sure, there's many things to be found in Candlekeep. By all means, please proceed.
Many thanks.
And at that point, as you all enter, you see the grumpy lion kind of stand up and is like, finally. There's never any end to those foolhardy adventures. Ugh. And let's wait for this map to load some pixels, shall we? Welcome to Candlekeep. Na 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 na.
Amazing.
Yes.
Quite the map.
Welcome to Candlekeep. All right. So you have just. Oh. Yeah, no, please go ahead. So you have just entered through the Way of the Lion. Through the main entrance to the gatehouse, you have been granted passage and residence at the Court of Air. Let's everybody roll me some history or some other check you would like to justify to see how much you know about this place.
Oh, wait. Why is this not rolling?
I don't know.
This doesn't count if it goes through.
I don't know. We'll find out.
Still didn't go through.
Well, it's probably
Alright.
trying to send us to Foundry.
Alright. Let's see. We have some high rolls. Alright.
13 is high.
For a level 1 character, it's okay.
Oh, okay.
It's not a fail. What would you like to know about Candlekeep?
Good question.
That is a good question.
I am very determined to find the information that I seek on this supernatural trading club, and I would like to know where
All right.
perhaps the specific parts of the library would be that detail such things.
So, first of all, both of you understand how this place works. You don't have admittance to the library. You can consult people, and you can request certain books to be brought to you. However, you do not have the unique privilege of entering through the magical emerald door that leads to the inner ward, where the great library comprises most of the city. You basically can stay within the Court of Air, where you can communicate with other travelers, seek guidance from other monks or people who become kind of a semi-permanent fixture of the local town. You can go to the Pillars of Pedagogy and try to find a lecture on some specific topic, or if you know who you're seeking, you perhaps can reach out a message to a specific specialist. There are specialists here residing in Candlekeep, specifically knowledgeable about, let's say, dimensions or curses and all of that.
Why is Roll20 broken?
I don't know. Is
I
it?
had to refresh D&D Beyond to get mine to work.
Okay. Try it. Ah, found it.
Oh.
It wasn't helpful, but there we go.
All right. So, you know that several things you can do. You can try to communicate with people. You can try to seek a guide. You can try to find the name of a person who specializes in whatever question you have. But with that, you do understand Zenrian and Lichorn, you understand these. There's magics everywhere and rules. Let's go through those rules real quick. There are 4 rules that are that if broken can have you be immediately excommunicated and never allowed to return. Rule number 1 is no fighting. Rule number 2 is no stealing. Rule number 3, and this is more important, no copying. You can take notes, but getting a copy requires a scribe to make one. And number 4, and the most grievous crime you can commit, no damaging, marking, or modifying existing works. That one, if you damage a work that is unique, can be justified for immediate execution by the archmages. You also understand that about 300 priests live within the inner wards, most of which are commoners, but a lot of them are either in the Avowed or on their way to becoming higher ranking Avowed. There are people who are designated as readers. They are scholars that have access to restricted parts of the Great Library. The highest rank is the Keeper of the Tome, which is kind of both the governor and the head of the entire Avowed order. The readers that curate and study books also are organized into First Reader, who is kind of the leader of them, and 8 Great Readers. Each one has a specific specialization and is widely regarded as most knowledgeable on that. And you, of course, Lichorn, have heard of them. The first one is Alai Avonmore. She is a human master sage who worships Ogma, and she knows everything about divinity in both the existing pantheons, including obscure ones, but also how divinity is obtained. Alchrist is a bronze dragonborn. He is a former leader of the armies of the King's Alliance, and since his retirement has quickly gained a lot of notoriety in his expert politics and military battles. Daryl Yashenti is a human master sage who is also a former poet. He is currently being unofficially titled as Melil's Chosen, Melil, of course, being the god of poetry and bards. His expertise is music, poetry, and literature. There is also a Lightfoot halfling, whose name is Fenimore Scrivenbark. Her expertise in history, folklore, and various cultures of Faerun. A human who goes by the name of Khazra Nyanti is a former druid who has studied both natural world and the world of celestial, including the navigation of the astral sea. Silvira Savikas is a tiefling archmage who has traveled almost every plane of existence that there is, and is entrusted with the library's Amulet of the Plains. Teles Ahuas is another human, one of the more new arrivals. However, he is already an archmage, unlike several older great readers who have yet to achieve that rank. It was granted to him through his extensive research on magic items, curses, and the construction of the weave itself. And finally, a Githzerai master sage, who goes by Vzir Ugg, is a specialist in unique creatures, such as aberrations and undead, and creatures who come through the far sides of the cosmos.
I'm not going to remember all of that.
Well,
I guess I gotta know it though. So.
yes. Here. You don't have to remember if I put it in chat.
Aha. This is also my method. I know people aren't going to remember my lore, so I just throw it in lore dump.
There, wall of text. Enjoy.
Nice.
Holy wall of text, Batman.
Whoa, that's a lot of words. Too bad I'm not reading them.
George Nemesis, Biblioteca.
You are in a large biblioteca. Or at least adjacent to it.
Donde está la biblioteca?
Right through the emerald door.
Just gonna dump that in lore. Get busy.
Alright,
I'll
so
reference that later.
all of you enter the Court of Air. And the grand pillars of the Candlekeep that are now not within a whole court, but much closer, tower over you. As many scholars are engaging in a lovely conversation, you see adventurers going in and out of temples, smithies, bathhouses, and even the pillars of pedagogy. It's much more lively than outside. Of course, you enter with a batch of new arrivals, and at the entrance, people are kind of giving brochures and saying, convert to Ogma now, and another one is, have you heard the good word of Denneir? The third one jumps in, no, and then he's wearing a large blacksmithing coat. You seem like a strong one. Do you know your way around a hammer? A hammer? Gond can teach you. And then you, Arty, as you walk in, a couple of people with flowing hair come to you and say, I see your musical instrument. Perhaps you would like to exchange some of your knowledge with us? You know, we are devout followers of Malil.
I am unfamiliar with Malil, but music is my purpose. How may I assist you?
Well, you see, Malil is music itself. He is in all of the notes.
Most interesting. I have never yet encountered him in all of my playing. Though perhaps, since I have only come into existence recently, it is simply my lack of experience which informs this state of affairs.
So it's fair to say you were born yesterday?
It would be fair to say I was born yesterday.
Alright. So, yeah, what do y'all do? It's, I would say, for people of, antisocial inclination, this would be borderline overwhelming.
Who is of an antisocial inclination?
Who is overwhelmed by people pitching religion and other services to you? Crowding you suddenly after days of traveling on adventuring roads, which means you barely meet any people.
Well, Lichorn is talking to
Excuse
them
me.
all and refusing with a very kind smile, but is kind of getting tired
Yeah.
of all of this and trying to break free from the crowd.
Excuse me, I am attempting to find a blacksmith or some other type of magical artificer, someone who can help to maintain my personage while I am here in your lovely city. Can you please direct me to someone of that persuasion?
Several people who wear a kind of tempered leather apron with a anvil symbol on it jump at you and say, yes, visit our smithy. It's right over here. They gestured to the left of you, very close to the entrance, right past the bath and steam house.
I will avoid the bath and steam house to prevent rust. But I will proceed to the smithy, and I will investigate what they have in terms of potential upgrades that I may be able to purchase and add to myself in the future.
Okay. Well, we'll get to that in a moment. What's everybody
just-
else doing?
Snooping.
Yep.
do I want?
Tell me what you want.
I don't know what I want.
What you
Tell me
really,
what you
really want.
What you really, really want.
I want a zigzag.
So, yeah. Why have you come here? What are you seeking? It can be a specific goal or just as simple as knowledge or adventure.
I mean, knowledge is great. I would love some, like, monk knowledge, because
They are all monks. It is
That
they're
is
officially
true.
monks. If you seem lost at the entrance, a couple of people will approach you and say, if you sign up to this program in a couple of easy steps and very low installments, you too can be an avowed monk.
that kind of sounds like a multi-level marketing scheme, so I think I'm going to pass off on
They
that.
present a
However,
book at your face.
why is there a book in my face? Okay.
It's a sort of a Bible for them.
And what is the installments that we're speaking of? How long is this course?
The process of learning is forever.
All right, and what are the installments of this forever program?
Well, it depends on how quickly you progress, but they generally consist of unpaid labor.
Unpaid labor.
You get paid in experience.
Experience, sure, experience pays my bills.
And if you follow our bardic route, you'll also be paid in exposure.
Exposure.
It's better than money.
I'm sorry, that's really funny. I'm good without the exposure and the experience. I can kind of get those by myself without having to pay someone for it. So I think I'm just gonna go walk around and talk to some monks and see what they know. And I think I'm good on that. I don't need to be part of the avowed. I'm okay.
That's fine. They won't stop pitching it to you, but you can walk away. Yes.
I'm gonna walk away. Yeah. I'm just
Where
gonna...
where do your feet take you?
My feet take me somewhere.
Would you like me to roll where you end up running in a crowd?
Oh god, I don't know, because I feel like that could be bad. But sure, yeah, let's do it.
All right, it's a D10. You can roll it yourself if you wish.
Oh, I love that. Let me just pull one out really quick. 5.
A 5.
Uh-oh.
Very interesting where you're going. As you kind of run away from those very, very aggressive salespeople, unbeknownst to you, your nose leads you in a way that smells of food. You find yourself taking a breather after trying to lose them in a crowd, right in front of what seems to be a local tavern. It is the
I
Hearth.
do like taverns. Okay, well, I will enter the tavern and I will get some drinks and stuff.
We do have drinks and stuff for sale.
I would love drinks and stuff.
From outside, the Hearth appears to be a modest tavern of sturdy construction, with warm light emanating from a pair of small windows on either side of the front door. Upon entering the establishment, visitors quickly realize that it's 3 times more spacious on the inside. It's bigger on the inside.
Oh, it's a TARDIS, let's go!
So, ironically, the Hearth is where you'll all end up. You just went there directly. So, well, I will put you there, and I'll wait for everybody else to catch up.
I will chill with some drinks. That sounds like fun to me.
Absolutely. Are you paying it for yourself, or are you gonna allow one of the pitchy people that also apparently are in the tavern to buy you a drink for 30 minutes of their explanation?
I will allow them to buy me a drink for 30 minutes because that means I'm not spending anything.
Which group are you choosing? There are 5 groups.
Ooh, what are my options here?
One group has the symbols that you've recognized on the book. It's the 2 runic symbols that we also have on our title cover. You clearly surmise that this is the Avowed. There is one that has a symbol of a blank scroll on them. There is one that has a candle, a lit candle. There is one that has the anvil, and there is one. What is your symbol, sir? Tell me your secrets. He doesn't have his. Weird.
I will make this easy for you. I
Oh,
will
it's a
pick one with the candle.
five-stringed harp made of leaves.
I will pick the lit candle.
Yes. So as you are, as you enter, there you look around. By the way, you also see a peculiar person who I will not share an artwork with just yet, so that it's a surprise for everybody else too. Do you see that?
I do, in fact, see that, yes.
I will DM you what that is.
Ooh.
This is what he looks like.
Ooh, okay, alright.
And as you pick the priest who has the... Oh, dynamic lighting isn't on. Is it? Wait, hang on. Is it on? I thought I did it correctly. I might have not. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. So he leads you to this door. And as you enter through the door, you appear over here.
Oh. Alright.
He preaches you the knowledge of the Lord of all glyphs and images, the scribe of Ogma himself, the first scribe, Denair.
Well, I will settle down with my drink and I will listen to what they have to say.
He is mildly persuasive.
Mildly persuasive, oh boy.
You also learn some stuff about Denair. He is a god of cartography, art, glyphs, images, knowledge, literature, and scholars. So while all 3 gods that you've been offered to learn about are all 3 are servants of Ogma, this guy is the one who is who collects when other servants of Ogma collect knowledge. This is the one who writes it down and categorizes it. He is also the one who is supposedly first mapped the dimensions of the planes. Denair. Alright. And while you enjoy your drink, Enid, what's I see a roll. I see a roll there in chat.
Yeah, well, it was supposed to be just to myself, but you know.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So, Enid does not like the look of all this concrete and stone, which I'm sure is not concrete, but it's definitely stone, and is going to find the grassiest area she can find, which just happens to be over here next to the hearth.
Absolutely.
And after a long journey and all of the people, she just wants to sit down and relax in the grass.
You could do so, yeah. Who's drawing on my maps? Oh, somebody's noticing things. Alright. Arty goes over there. Alright, is that it?
Well, as soon as she lays down in the grass to catch her breath, she sits back up, but now she's a turtle. A rather pudgy looking turtle.
Describe yourself. Explain yourself.
Enid is now a rather rotund turtle. Every part that is exited from the shell has rolls upon rolls of flappy scales, and has moss growing all over the shell, as they don't like to move that much, and prefer to stay as still as possible. But in this moment, they sit up and think to themselves, "What in tarnation seems to be going on here?" And they stand up and take a look around and realize where they are. "Well, it looks like I've made it. Alrighty then." And steps into the hearth.
All right, perfect. All right, Lichorn.
All right. So after a long time of politely refusing all of the people pitching their different religions and programs and whatnot, just want to rest. So I push through a few more people. Not really push, but just more like gently go by. And I make my way over to the hearth to get some rest and some food.
The rest would be at the House of Rest, where you can acquire, bedding. But yes,
Going for food first.
Absolutely.
Just to sit down and eat some food and drink something.
You guys can move about there as you wish. All right, Arty, are you back? I don't know if Arty is back.
He does not seem to be back just yet.
All right, then, Turtle, as you walk in to the tavern, you also see this peculiar person. And now that most of you have seen it, I'll give the handout. I'll do the handout. I mean, all of you are, weathered enough adventurers to recognize that this is very unique. As in fact, this is an ogre reading a book. I mean, this is levels of weird. Not only ogres are typically mindless brutes who slaughter anyone they meet and struggle to do conversation, let alone achieve literacy. They are notoriously against clothing, and this one is wearing very fancy ones. Speaking of wearing, he also seems to be wearing a very bejeweled diadem. He seems to be engaging in conversation with a couple of people sitting around the big fire in the middle of the hearth. And since most of us are there, let's read the description of it. The hearth gained its larger dimensions courtesy of extra-dimensional magic created by worshippers of Gond. An intricate clockwork device is suspended in a 2-foot diameter, faintly glowing crystal orb embedded in the ceiling over the bar. The Avowed call this device a geometric amplifier. It is the source of the magic required to maintain the integrity of this enlarged space. The bar sets up to 20 seats up to 20 customers, and patrons can also be seated comfortably at round tables with stout wooden chairs or rectangular tables with benches. A dozen soft, cushy armchairs encircle the fireplace in the center of the room. The hearth patrons are a mix of fresh-faced adjutants, stodgy scholars, and eccentric guests. What are you doing, Lichorn, once you enter?
Just look for an empty table to
There's a
sit
couple.
down at. Let's pick this one. And I wait. I don't. Whether will someone eventually come to like ask for if I can get food or not, or
Oh yeah.
waiter.
Oh, there's there are waiters going around. Yes.
Okay. So I just take an open seat and I sit and wait.
You're quickly approached by several people who, again, are trying to pester you into various kinds of vaguely vaguely subpar commitments, let's say.
Do any of them mention anything related to like dimensional or like supernatural, like traveling abilities?
No,
Like
not
different
really.
things.
They're all giving you general pitches of like, follow Denier and you'll become a great scribe. You'll achieve the powers of archmages, like those guys you've seen at the gates.
Alright, I just continuously politely refuse all of them.
And then, the barmaiden comes and just kind of says, shush, shush. You're given a menu. You can get a drink for a copper, or you can get a meal for a silver. Unless you're going fancy.
We'll just go for a normal meal.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Arty, we'll retcon a little bit because you were you weren't here. You just arrived at the smithy.
Okay.
When you arrive at the smithy, it's weird because it's not just a smithy, it's also the stables. The center part of the building seems to be a large smithy, however the left and the right portions are different kinds of stables that go 2 stories tall.
Say that again?
So it's a large house of
Yeah.
2 stories.
Gotcha.
The middle part of it, the middle third,
Okay.
is a smithy. However, to the left and to the right, there are open stables as a part of the same building.
All right. Well,
You see
I
a golden dwarf veteran in full plate armor, adorned with various symbols of Gond, overseeing the operations and taking in new horses and various mounts that people today have arrived on.
all right. Sorry, after my phone call, I get a text from work. Great. Everything.
So as you look around, you see that the stables are designed to accommodate a wide range of mounts. Most of the stalls are designed for horses and ponies, but specialized stalls offer secure lodging and care for hippogriffs, griffins, and even wyverns.
There's a part of me that's wondering if staying here would be cheaper than staying at an inn or something.
It will be much cheaper.
I do not require much, just a place to stand quietly.
Yes. What a life. So yeah, there's a pretty significant smithy, although you see that the most of the smiths are kind of using the blueprints for various types of gear for mounts.
Right.
You do see that the veterans, the Golden Dwarf veterans, station has a wide array of tools, some of which even you haven't seen.
I will approach one of the golden veterans.
There's one golden dwarf veteran. The others.
I will approach him then. Because he appears to be the one in charge.
Oh, he is clearly.
Excuse me, sir. My name is Arty. I am a construct, a designation of artificial bard. I have recently taken up residence here in this city and may in the future require maintenance and other upgrading sort of services. Might you be able to assist me in my stay here?
Oh, wow! Wonderful, wonderful creature you are. He drops his bussing around and immediately starts looking at you, taking out a tool and even bunking on a compartment that opens that you didn't know was there, and seems like a very blatant violation of personal space.
Ow! Please do not do that. My parts are showing.
And he's like, of course. Oh, you're one of those. Tell me, do you have a soul, or were you always this way?
I do not understand the question. I simply am. I was created, but told that I was defective, but defective in such a way that they could not destroy me. Hence, I am of the impression that I have some sort of usefulness or purpose in this world, although I do not know why that is or what the purpose could be. I suppose I am here seeking that, but also seeking some way to maintain my existence until such time as I am able to discern that purpose.
And as this entire time as you're speaking, he's actually, studying you, and he's leading you towards his desk, and he's saying, "Oh yes, that's wonderful, that's wonderful." And the entire time he's just kind of studying you, opening parts and kind of, moving your joints so the inner springs are exposed, and kind of tugging on them so they make a little noise.
Be careful pulling on that. I have made certain alterations to my initial design, which have been useful in it reaching this place.
And at that, he will hold his arm up so it's pointing toward the ceiling, and a small egress hatch will open up in his hand, and a very sharp pointed blade will shoot out of his hand. Not launch out, but extend very quickly in a stabbing motion, and then he'll retract it back down. Yes.
He leads you to his desk, and he takes a couple of what seems to be colored glass lenses, and he starts cycling them through the little eyepiece that he has, and kind of looking at you. And he goes, "Oh, you are very peculiar indeed. How about a deal?"
I would be open to any sort of arrangement that you might offer.
I will perform maintenance on you, but in turn you'll allow me to study your construction. Oh, yes, I'm sure Tellus would be very interested in all of this, and he is jotting down some notes.
As a means of entrance to the city to pay the toll, as it were, I provided my blueprints to your keep of knowledge. They are accessible, I would assume, to someone of your stature. As for me personally, I am open to your ministrations.
And at that, he'll you hear a click and a whir, and he'll tilt his head to the side, and the front of his chest will open up, and it's just this cog work of all sorts of machinery and everything just kind of clicking and whirring inside of there. But there's also little compartments with little bits of fabric and stuff sticking out on one side, and little bits of jangly metal on one side that don't really appear to have anything to do with this function, but are just stored in there for some reason.
Yep, he makes you a deal. He says, "Oh, no problem. I will request the binder to make me a copy." Yes, I'm sure Tellus and Vizier gotta hear about this. They gotta hear about this. And he's mumbling to himself and jotting down some notes.
Very well, then.
And with that, his chest close back up, and you hear a little as it locks in place, and his head returns itself to its proper orientation.
What now? You see him call for a small sleek covered um, apprentice, he gives him a note and says him, tells him to run somewhere. He's like,
As
yes, sir, yes.
as my purpose in coming to the city is to learn and to increase my own knowledge of how to better maintain myself and to discern my purpose in the world, it would probably do me well to seek out other people who may be able to provide information and perspective. I will now proceed to, what is the word? Interview, interrogate, question, talk, converse with other people who may be here and may be able to provide additional information which is useful to my purpose. I will return.
Oh,
And
very
that-
well, very well.
And then he'll like lift up his hand, and then like all the tension in his wrist just drops. His hand just like chung, and like falls over in like an approximation of a half wave, but almost looks like it broke. And then he'll like snap it back and like goes back to normal. And he'll like turn and walk out.
Okay, sounds good. So are you going to the here now to the?
Yeah, I'm going to where everyone else is.
All right.
A gathering place of people.
All right. So about the time you enter, Zenrian, your 30-minute lecture ends. You're allowed to leave unless you have questions or want to convert right here, right now.
I'm okay. I'm good. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna sit at a table and kind of like vibe.
So you see a couple commoners, you see a couple other adventurers. You of course see Little One engaging in a conversation with an old scholar, what seems to be an adventuring wizard, and one of the commoners who mostly seems to be nodding and saying, "Yes, that's what I thought. It's exactly what I thought."
So kissing ass.
Well, pretending he is a part of a conversation more.
Yes.
You of course
well-
recognize two people.
I do. Well, I am interested in this little one, so I think I will sit. I cannot move my. Oh, hold on. This is why. I would like to sit here, within earshot and between the two travelers that I do recognize, so that I can listen to the conversation without seeming like a kiss ass, and see if there is anything interesting happening.
He seems to be discussing a book that he's reading. And from there on, he goes on a twisting and twirling discussion that eventually winds itself talking about the repercussions of geopolitical events as a result of the old giant versus dragon war. And he says, "Oh, indubitably, if I was a giant at the time, as a man of large stature, I would, of course, have joined them, but one must consider the moral implications of not supporting the tyranny of dragons." And the sage says, "But, interesting thoughts, but what do you think about the inner struggle? What do you think about the consequences of the giant's loss as the further catalyst for the civil war between the chromatic and the metallic dragons?" The wizard throws out some comments. "Oh, I've actually recently found that chromatic and metallic dragons don't hate each other as much as they think. Perhaps their dwindling numbers are driving them together." And the commoner is like, "Oh, of course, dragons, yeah, they gotta stick together. Everybody knows that," and everybody just kind of side-eyes him.
I think I will keep my peace for now. I will not say anything.
Everybody who's listening to Little One, roll me an intelligence.
Just a straight intelligence check.
Yep.
Oh, it's a save. Darn it.
That's
the other one.
fine. All right, Arty, you're able to follow this. Somehow it's the same roll, so I'm just taking the first one.
Okay.
Wow, all of you are smart. I'm waiting for Lichorn, or unless Lichorn is just not listening.
My
I'm within earshot. I hear it in the background.
You're all surprisingly involved in this. Like Zenrian, you of course have.
I have a little bit of better inside knowledge, seeing as I was raised by Draconics.
Yeah. You understand what the comments that he's making about the dragon policies, and you're like, oh, he's not wrong. I mean, those are very interesting questions. I don't know that the dragons themselves have answers to what he's asking.
Mm-hmm.
And Arty, you of course have downloaded all of the history of the giant versus dragon war, so you're just following, the memory banks. And even you, Tortle, can follow it along. Lichorn, you're not as much. You just get a sense that he loses you several times during the conversation. You're clearly are more inclined with extra planar concerns than these old wars and their consequences on the current social hierarchies.
Enid is actually more concerned with the amulet that little one wears on his head. He's seen it somewhere before, but he can't. It's on the tip of his tongue.
Yes, the diadem is indeed very beautiful, encrusted with several gems. So yeah, you all are extremely, those of you who have, even those of you who don't really have prejudices against beings commonly referred to as the bottom of sentience that are ogres, you're surprised that this person who's only referred to as the little one in a conversation would probably crush you in any dispute.
What are you talking about? 5 minutes ago, I was a kobold.
I mean, Artie's got his own issues. But I mean, if he's...
Oh, by the way, Arty, is any part of you powered by fire?
I would say Artie is an entirely magical construct.
Okay, that's very good, because you would be dead.
Okay.
Good choice.
As you look around and notice that instead of candles, all of these tables are illuminated by small drift globes.
Okay.
I wonder why.
As opposed to the big fire pit in the center of the room?
It doesn't seem to exude any heat. And I'm gonna say, with that intelligence, you understand it is entirely an illusion.
Okay.
In fact, perhaps in your curiosity, you spark a little flame. Perhaps a match or a candle. And the moment it lights on fire, it is immediately extinguished.
Oh, this is part of the cause no damage thing.
No, it is part of the 4 magical words.
Okay.
Here are the 4 magical words that are placed around this entire place. 1. You cannot teleport into Candlekeep or use any magics to get in. You must go through the front gates. 2. Fires larger than a candle are magically suppressed, so spells like Fireball do not function.
Okay.
Theft. Books stolen from Candlekeep immediately return there via magic upon crossing the front gate.
Okay.
And part number 4. The Keeper of the Tomes can activate a missile which blocks everything but air and sound from getting in or out of Candlekeep. This magic is so powerful, only a wish spell can break it.
This place is airtight.
Oh yeah. So yeah, you listen to little one. I mean, the barkeep comes, offers you some food or drink if you want, all of you. Arty, she doesn't know what to offer you.
I do not require sustenance.
She smiles and just kind of skitters sideways. She's like, one of those, and don't get paid enough to know every type of adventure that comes here. But on the menu, you find, several meals you can purchase, including a service. Would you like to know what that service is?
Yes.
The service is called Meeting Chambers. You understood that this building is already thrice the size it was supposed to be.
Right.
But on top of it, it has 3 doors in the western wall. And, well, actually, technically that's... Oh, yeah, no. That's
the
eastern
western
wall. No. Because, yeah, it's inverted. But whatever.
Oh, okay.
Let's call it western wall. Let's call that eastern wall. And there's 5 doors in the eastern wall. That,
true.
from any...
That's you again.
Thank you. Sorry.
A priest runs up to you, offers a handkerchief, and says, blessed be your health by dinner year, and offers you another brochure.
Thank you.
So you understand that these doors would lead nowhere, even if this building was normal sized. And the menu offers the explanation. The chambers, specifically, you know of them, Zenrian, because you went into one of them, are demi-planar. So 3 of them on the western wall, each house a 30-foot square chapel, either to Denier, Gond, or Melil. And the other 5 can be rented for private conversation for a payment of 5 gold pieces. The door can only be locked or unlocked using a key that the barkeeps can give you for 5 gold, and prevent sound in case you need a private conversation.
Ooh.
I say it again. Giggity.
Can I make an orgy joke?
I think Masters already did, but go ahead.
Yes. No, it's pronounced ogre. The E is silent.
Okay.
What about the Y?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that joke? From She-Hulk. My name is something, I forgot her name, like, my name is Melina, but with a Y, and not where you think it is.
Yeah.
I think so. Alright. We'll move on from... We'll not count how many layers orgy jokes have, or lest I have to make actual NPCs that are participating. So yeah, what do you do now? Would you like to seek a guide? Are you looking for something specific? I mean, the conversation on the consequences of the old war for the dragonkind is kind of, tiring itself out. You could talk to them if you wish.
Do I know what the amulet is on his head?
I will say with that, what'd you roll, 18? Yes, absolutely you do.
Well, what is it?
It is the Diadem of Intellect.
That's what I thought it was.
Would you like to describe to your fellow peers what Diadem of Intellect is, as they did not give me a handout for it, I don't think.
It basically gives its wearer an intelligence boost. I think it makes it 19. That specific one may do more, but...
Yes, it makes it, while you're wearing this item, your intelligence cannot be lower than 19.
So since I rolled a 17, do I also know this?
Yeah.
Okay. If I were to say remove this diadem from his head, would
Yes.
that be considering breaking the rules of no fighting?
That would be considering breaking the rules of no stealing.
Okay. Not for the intention of stealing. I just want to put it on the table beside him and just see what happens.
How do you think a ogre who prides himself in his newfound intelligence would react to your proposition to remove his diadem?
I mean, if he doesn't know, right? Just sneak up behind him and do it.
It takes a strength check, I believe.
Strength check? Oh shit, I don't got that. I got a -1 on my strength, so we're not gonna do that. Never mind.
We're an hour into the campaign and you're already finding a way to kill your character.
I am good at that.
That's what I thought.
Not as good as Gabby.
What?
Alright. So yeah, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna go talk to the little one.
Okay.
I think I would also like to do that. I just want to sit around and gather more information, I guess.
She's gonna come and have a sit right here in this chair.
He greets you, sitting on this chair that is, even though it's not sentient, you feel like it's screaming in pain and barely holding on. And he is holding a...
Mine is too.
And he is holding a book which he has to hold with his index finger and thumb because otherwise he is obscuring more than the entirety of the page. He greets you.
Greetings, little one, is it?
Yes, that's an adorable little moniker that has been picked out for me.
Yes, I understand the idiom there. Where might you have come by this diadem you seem to have placed on your head?
You understand what that is? How interesting.
Yes,
Are
I've
you-
seen a couple in my time.
One of the new arrivals, I presume.
Yes, quite. I'm using the wrong voice, but I am, in fact, a new arrival.
Well,
Rather-
he closes his book and corrects his diadem. Says, "Well, you see, we ogres, we live an ignorant life, perhaps through cruelty of our subpar birth, or perhaps through ignorance of our upbringing. I was hunting, much like most ogres spend their time. And I killed this adventuring party right outside Greenest. This thing looked shiny, and back in those days, shiny was the only attribute that I would consider valuable in an item. So I put it on, and I found myself learning, changing, understanding the error of our ways. I was shunned by the society of Waterdeep when I tried to arrive there and establish a life. But I came to Candlekeep hoping that I could learn, and in time perhaps outgrow the prejudices of the society out there."
Ah, and what is it, pray tell, you say that would got you into this place? I know you have to give some sort of offering to get in here.
You see, I come from a tribe that lived in a forest near said Greenest. Shortly after my awakening, a young green dragon tried to establish a new lair there. Most ogres simply didn't want to fight it. But by then I was already adjusting to my new life, And through cunning and military stratagems, we managed to overcome the dragon. Although we did not kill it, we drove the young, feeble creature away, and whatever remained in its stash, I used to barter for gold to establish a small life in Waterdeep. The dragon was also in possession of an old necromancy tome. I originally used it to study magic myself, and then to purchase entry into this place.
Oh, the necromantic arts.
Sure, old-timer. Say, have you read this book? We just had a very exciting conversation. You might learn something from this. It's very interesting. The Avowed always recommend me new books, and I find this one delightful. He presents you a book.
The Avowed, you say?
Yes, we are quite good friends, although I refuse to join their order. The book that he's giving you is called Storm King's Thunder by Scryer's Fink. He says, the book follows the exploits of a band of adventurers. You kind of remind me of one of them. Searching for a storm giant king named Hecaton, whose sudden disappearance caused great upheaval up and down the Sword Coast some years ago. I can't wait to find out how it ends.
You don't say. Well, what is it you'd say about this place? I've seen a lot of people trying to get me to do various things. Where is it that you would go to seek adventure and knowledge?
Adventure and knowledge. Well, knowledge is found in books. I'm not much for adventure, but perhaps adventure can be found there too. What is it that brought you here?
I'm on a quest for knowledge. I don't know quite why. Small man once told me to seek this place out and learn all I could, so that's why I'm here.
If you seek knowledge, I do have some friends that could provide you with that help, but adventure... There are a couple peculiar avowed monks. I could perhaps introduce you to somebody. He is scratching his chin.
I would be much obliged.
You know what? I think Fembris might not know much about adventure, but he sure is good at stumbling into trouble. And I hear those things are commonly equated.
It is how some of us came to be.
Okay, you're enjoying it?
I'm having so much fun. It's great.
Alright, what are the rest of you doing?
I am eavesdropping into this conversation, trying to get a sense of who this little one is. Mostly not liking him off the bat due to the fact that his whole thing and how he got in here is due to stealing from a dragon, and I'm very defensive over that.
Actually, his whole thing is killing adventurers and then accidentally putting an item on that gives him intelligence. But yes.
Well, but it was stolen from a dragon, was it not?
No. So he killed a party of adventurers, one of whom was a wizard, and had this diadem. He put it on simply because shiny. And suddenly, he went from being a massive idiot to intelligence that it trumps all of yours, right? And he understood the error of his ways, and he wanted to go to Waterdeep and live in society rather than with other ogres. He did that after a dragon assailed his home, his tribe's home, and he, using his newfound intelligence, tricked the dragon and used the strength of other ogres to beat it down. And he used the treasure to both buy his way to travel across the Sword Coast and to, purchase a book that would lend him entrance here.
I see. Okay.
He
I
is very
misunderstood.
roll inside, everybody, if you want to understand a little one. But he comes off across as somebody who, even without rolling insight, you understand that he is clearly somebody who prides himself on his new intelligence. You're engaged in conversation and more like trying to get information out of him. And Lichorn, you're just like, I don't know, smelly ogres. I don't like him. But Arty and Zenrian, you understand that he is a true intellectual who sees the ways of the ogres and the way he behaved as, if not a sin, then a curse that they're born with.
Okay.
You understand that currently he's chaotic good, despite, ogre birth.
Okay.
And that also goes to the point that he is a giant. Ogre is a type of giant. But his conversation about the, he is clearly able to emphasize and just understand other sentient beings. He is not, although he has a body of an ogre, which is now much more kempt and dressed, his intellect is one of a curious and caring person.
Okay.
So I'm confused. Is he like faculty? What is he? Is he like another person here?
He refuses to join the Avowed because joining the Avowed is joining the Avowed, right?
Okay.
But however, he stays. He stays here in the Court of Air, and he has a good relationship with most of the Avowed. He knows some of them personally. He is considered a permanent fixture of the hearth, as he exchanges conversation with adventurers, but also he reads the books that the Avowed recommend to him.
Okay.
And then, converses with them about what he thought about them. He spends most of his days in the hearth, and almost every day has a different book.
He's the leader of the book club. Got it.
He doesn't have an official book club. He is the book club, let's say, because he's just kind of reading books, sitting here. People who pass through, or the Avowed who recommended the books, or just kind of were here and got curious, join the conversation. He is pretty much the only person who is permanently featured in the book club.
Okay.
BB, you want to join us? What do you think? Fireball them? I agree.
I thought fireball wouldn't work.
Mine will.
Fireball.
If I have a lore master wizard who can change the element of a spell to anyone he wants, I can firebolt of cold element to you.
Delightful thought.
Yes, BB? Yes, very good point.
Is BB there?
She's on my lap, yes.
Give BB many pets for me.
She hears me talking, so she's like, nope. I'm going to the other room. She's a shy kitty.
No, baby. Okay, well, I think I'm going to come sit on the other side of little one here, and I'm just kind of, whoa, okay, chair.
Just hold alt so you can.
Oh God, okay.
So you don't have to be on.
Hey, look at that, it worked.
Yep.
I will sit there, and I will slowly start to engage myself in this conversation, I think.
So the last as they were leaving off, as you're slowly joining, is Enid was inquiring about finding knowledge and adventure, and little one was like, well, I knew some of the Avowed are good friends, and although Fembris is not much of an adventurer, he does stumble into a lot of trouble. These
Trouble
guys are,
sounds
you know,
fun.
these guys have left already. So, I'll put them in a go into your box, NPCs. Go into your box.
What's in the box?
NPCs. All right.
They're magically delicious.
Do not try that. I'm looking at Arty. Do not try to find out if they are.
No.
Technically, this time it wouldn't be cannibalism.
True.
This time.
But see, this is my way of avoiding cannibalism. Artie doesn't have a stomach.
You can still ingest things as a warforged.
He's not a warforged. He's an auto gnome.
Oh yeah, okay, you're on gnome. Okay.
The laugh of
Confuzzled.
victory.
Excusing your pardons, may I join your conversation?
Oh yes, of course. You peculiar thing.
Am I peculiar?
Kinda.
Oh, what
Aren't
makes
we
me
all
so?
peculiar?
I mean, that's true.
I couldn't say. Everything that I have always known is simply the first that I have known it. There is no delineation between the normative or the peculiar. I am simply existing as I assume you all to be. Is that incorrect?
Sometimes.
I mean, that's a lot of words.
Depends on
so
how much
sure.
I've drank.
Ha! Yes.
Little one looks you up and down and is like, I've never seen one so small.
That's what she said.
Okay. Got me now.
I have a reaction for this.
Why are you booing him? He's right.
Your boos need nothing to me. I've seen what makes you cheer.
Oh my god, that's a lot of clips I'll have to insert into the edit.
Yes, more jokes. Make him do all the editing.
You found
Anyway.
my one weakness.
Insert a 3 hours
Work.
screen here.
Alright.
Like, I'm sorry, you'll have to watch this movie to get this reference.
Yeah.
This is the one D&D campaign that comes with homework.
Oh my god. Alright. So he says, you know what? Seek Fembris Larlin, sir. He's a young human fella. He has a bright smile.
Marlin.
He has a bright smile and a can-do attitude, but let's say a bad luck.
Sounds like fun.
Please define luck. I am unfamiliar with this concept.
Ah. Well, luck is more of a percepted likelihood of random chaotic events going in a certain direction. Typically, good luck means that they're going in the direction that most favors you. You see, for him, is almost by means of magics, things weirdly don't work out.
So he's cursed.
That's what we thought. That's what I postulated, yeah. But Tellus examined him and didn't really find any curses, and, you know, them's the experts.
Maybe Tellus is the one that put him on him.
How intriguing.
That would seem to be most unkind. I believe that is the word which I have heard used to describe such events in the past.
Yeah, I mean, that's accurate.
The world's an unkind place, sir.
Very true.
Have you traveled much throughout the world to be able to come to a place of understanding of that fact?
Oh, yeah. I'm 187 years old. I've been places.
187 years. That is quite long indeed. How does one live to be so long, so old, so extended? The wording is difficult. I seek to extend my own life. How does one attain such age as yourself?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. You don't go adventuring, that's for sure. But these old bones need to get something done, so might as well start now while I'm still young.
Do not go adventuring, yet still go adventuring. A conflict, a inconsistency. I am unsure how to proceed.
And this is the paradox of life.
What of you? How long have you endured on this material plane?
Arty, roll me an intelligence again, please.
Intelligence?
Yes.
Okay.
It does compute.
Amazing.
You compute that attainment of power through adventure can definitely lead to extension of life, yet there is a conundrum of the more adventure, the more likelihood of sustaining permanent damage to your essential mechanisms, thus lowering the duration of your life. Yet you compute the balance of those things. Congratulations, you get the number 42.
Haha.
Nice.
Life,
I
the
understood
universe,
that
and
reference.
everything. Cue the Captain America clip.
To answer your question, I am about 150 years old, so I'm not quite as old, but I am still old enough.
150.
Yes.
Again, how did you attain such great age?
I mean, I am an elf by birth, so I am prone to living quite long.
Ah, I see. Quite long for an elf. Does that mean that you have a different rate of maturation and that you are in fact yet still an adolescent?
No. So I am still technically qualified as an adult. However, I am still an early adult, if that makes sense.
I am attempting to compute this information, but it is most difficult. All of the many different species do not necessarily make sense to me. They are too varied. It is much simpler if they are simply brought into existence, much as myself, at a place of relative accomplishment and completeness, as opposed to having to go through several stages of life to achieve full usefulness.
I believe what
My
young
voice box hurt.
What's that?
I believe
You're
what
making my
young
voice box
Zen
hurt.
I believe what young Zen is saying, my peculiar constructed friend, is that she is old enough to qualify to make decisions, yet most of those decisions are poor. I've learned that is a very... I believe that is a common qualifier, how you can normalize ages of different species. By whether they can make decisions.
I don't think I would
and-
necessarily agree with that, because there are many who have reached full maturity that still make very poor decisions. I don't think that decision making is the qualification for maturity.
I have a query. In the event that I am, as I am indeed, less than 1 full years old, am I still in the stage of life, as it were, where I might still be able to make my quote-unquote bad decisions?
I mean,
Well, you're here,
everyone
aren't
can
you?
make bad decisions whenever.
Ah, so there is no expiration date on poor judgment.
No.
This is most distressing.
However, wisdom does come from these poor decisions. So once you make a poor decision, you learn from that poor decision, and you become more wise because of it.
That
Now,
is
that
one
in and
thing.
of itself is a skill.
And
not
that's
just
also a
gift
symbol of
talent.
maturity.
That is certainly something which I lack. The wisdom of the aged.
Alright. Continue, please. So at this point, you see a bumbling. I don't have a token for him, but a bumbling young man entering in a rush through the gates of the tavern, and immediately stumbling on the steps, barely through the door, collapsing, covering himself with a tower of books that he was reading.
Arty will turn to him and will evaluate the pile of books and everything, and he will ask him,
Excuse me, young man, have you also entered the time of life where you are making the poor decisions and have not yet extended yourself into the realms of adulthood and maturity?
He starts standing up and kind of dusting himself off. That's what they say. A wide smile gleaming on his face, and despite him bumbling and clearly being, upset about it, is still shining genuinely.
Perhaps then you might be able to instruct me, as I am also just now beginning my journey into, as they say here, wisdom.
I wouldn't be one to, advise anybody. I'm just a young monk, just trying to correct some mistakes. And at this point, little one is gonna stand up and say, "Well, speak of the bumblebutt. My soon-to-be adventuring friends, I present to you Fembris Larlancer. A young and eager, let's say, avowed adjutant."
We greet you, or I greet you. I do not know if we are connected enough to be referred to as we. It is most confusing to me, but I greet you. Fembris, tell me, what is your purpose here?
Well, I was trying to be one of the scribes, I really wanted to be a scribe, copy the works, work for the binder, eventually get to study the prophecies of the Deep Library. But, my career hasn't been going so far, so they put me on running duty. Speaking of, you have any requests? As he's, going around table by table and handing out books from that he fumbled. He's just kind of going around and giving books. Goes over there.
Do you have any books on any sort of dimensional travel? I would like to. That's very important. I would like to know if you have any of that.
As you stop him, he says, "Of course, I can run that query up to the main one, but how interesting. It would be my luck for you to be interesting in dimensions."
Why is that?
You see, I'm trying to fix a extra-dimensional mistake, let's say. Little one kind of goes over here and ushers you to you three who were talking to him. Yes, you see, our little adjutant here. I dare say he managed to do the impossible.
Which is?
He managed to get a book stuck between the door into one of the meeting rooms and the other side of the dimensional place. We're still not sure how that's even possible. But when he fell, one of the books apparently got stuck between the dimensions.
Uh-huh.
He's been demoted since then and banned from all scribing duties. I've been trying to guide him into proper literature onto how to resolve this inconvenient mistake. Perhaps you'll find the trouble that you seek. He's certainly one that attracts adventure. He rolls his eyes.
Is this something we could help with?
Well,
I do not have knowledge of interdimensional things. Much, anyway, aside from the deep realms. But, like, I'm sure there's some way we can help.
So he says, well, I kind of have a dead end at the moment. So perhaps you could help me with that?
What dead end are we speaking of?
So he pulls out a book. It's the only one remaining that he did not distribute to other people who previously requested them. Hang on, I'm just trying to find it. Okay, he pulls out this tome.
Again, why do all of the tomes seem to have a picture of Nikolai Lenin on the cover?
That's a fantastic question.
In extra-dimensional spaces.
I'm beginning to question perhaps the loyalties and or proclivities.
Well,
of
you know, the
Dungeon
banner of
Master.
the Wild is very red with golden finery, so... I remind you of this is their official symbol on their book.
Okay.
And they do wear red robes. So take that as you will.
So you're saying that these are in fact our books?
In the Keep of Candles, Dimension Space U.
Gotcha.
It's our book club. Alright, so he pulls out this book and he says, you see, there was once a mage. The mage's name was Matrius. And I believe it's a she. Hang on. Anyhow, the Matrius was studying a book of an ancient, a very powerful wizard. Matrius was a guy. The original wizard was a her. And that powerful book, her name was Festadia, and she apparently found unique ways of forming the demiplanes and pocket dimensions and other weird spaces that exist outside normal material planes. He was staying in one of the lodging houses, and he would come for weeks on end and kind of lock himself in, borrowing this book, studying it, making notes. However, he disappeared without finishing the work. We're not even sure if he ever found whatever he was trying to make. But supposedly when, according to what little of his notes remain, he was studying permanent ways of creating extra-dimensional spaces and modifying them. Perhaps in his notes I could find how to, create a small room where the book is stuck between dimensions and retrieve it and finally be done with the atonement to my punishment. However, I can't seem to find it. I've scoured the notes and I just don't know. And he puts, since Lichorn, you were the first one who talked to him, he slaps it down on the table. The book is a heavy tome. Its thick covers are made of ornately tooled leather decorated with golden filigree. Of particular interest is the illustration on the cover. The bust of an imposing spellcaster. Would you like to roll some knowledge to see if you recognize who that person is? Enid, you do recognize him. He's a very hard person to not recognize. It's Mordenkainen.
read a book about his tome of foes.
He has contributed several noticeable encyclopedias to the collection. Zenrian, it's an old dude with a curly mustache.
That sounds about right.
Lichorn, you know that one of the Mordenkainen most famous contributions, of course, besides the Tome of Foes, which classifies creatures of many dimensions, was a spell. He actually authored a spell, Magnificent Mansion, which allowed a high-level caster to produce an extra-dimensional house wherever they go, as long as they can draw a door. It's wildly used in high-level adventuring.
And Lichorn is very interested in that because it seems to have some sort of resemblance to the legend that I have been chasing after.
Many smugglers do indeed use this ability, the spell, Mordekainen's Magnificent Mansion, to store contraband, because the only thing you need to is to draw it on one side of the border, and inside it's an entire mansion. You throw people, you throw smuggling goods, and the only thing you need to smuggle is one spellcaster to recast a spell on the other side to create a new door, and people can exit. I assume it would be widely used in, interdimensional smuggling. So, what do you do?
Whereabouts would these notes be?
Oh, they're in the book.
Oh, they're in the book. Okay, well. What is it exactly you need us to do then?
Well, you see they're incomplete. He started the notes, but then on this last visit, this book and the beginning of the notes were found in his room, and no sign of him or the rest of his workings were ever found.
So I say again, you need us to find the notes.
I would very much appreciate them. This details a spell. His notes, whatever remain, detail as beginning of a spell, but I wouldn't ever be able to finish it without the rest of the notes or his research. What do you think? Maybe I could get you something to drink, something to eat. Perhaps you'd like private chambers to stay. I mean, if you are gonna be, helping me, I would like to appease you. And he goes to the bar and he grabs 4 sets of drinks, and as he rushes back, he stumbles on a chair. And Lichorn, I'm gonna need a dex. Actually, people, are you at the table? Who's at the table?
We're kind of still around the thing here.
All right. So Lichorn is the only one looking at the book.
Okay.
All right, Lichorn, I'm gonna need the dex save.
Dex save.
All right. Almost by means of magic, your extreme reflexes sense the ale that is currently flying towards you. And in a blink of an eye, you'll stand and kind of almost at supernatural speed move away with your chair, allowing the drink to successfully spill on the floor, and then put your chair right back while managing to grab one of the steins that is falling and collect a full stein of ale. So in this blink of an eye, when this guy is falling, you move away, only saving just one beer for yourself.
Could I attempt to, from across the room, use Mage Hand to catch another?
Yes. Spell attack, please.
Then I'll put it down.
Nope.
you start using Mage Hand, but you create it right over here, and it's just like by the time it starts moving, you're just kind of gently touching Lichorn's head.
Uh,
It's never good to waste good ale.
what happened to the rest of them that were like in his hands?
He dropped a tray. The other three flew on the ground and splattered.
Okay, so like they just all ended up on the ground.
Yes, Lichorn saved one for himself.
All right.
No, I will. I would like to offer it to someone else, and because I'd prefer if someone else had this. It's not what I want to be. Someone else should have it, not me. I'll just offer the ale to any of the other people then.
So you're inviting the rest of them? You're putting an ale down on the table, inviting everybody else in?
Yes.
Perfect.
Well, I'm never one to turn down good ale.
Yeah, me neither. Let's go.
Your offer is appreciated, but I do not require sustenance. However, I will join your conversation.
No problem.
All right. So you can open the book. You can peruse the book if you wish.
Well, would anyone like to take a look, or should I do the honors?
What sort of a check would it be?
Well, you just have to start looking at it. You don't have to do a check at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
So somebody doing that?
Allow us to look together, perhaps.
Arty will like reach up and he'll like disconnect one of his eyes and like hand it to you.
Okay.
Right?
I'll grab the eye with a little bit of confusion, but I will take it nonetheless. And I will
like-
make it so that it is looking at the book.
As you do this, Arty will like very mechanically sort of like descend into the chair like and like sit there like an approximation of a relaxed pose while you just like direct his eye to whatever it is you're looking at.
And then I shall open the book to the first page while like trying to make it so that the other people can also get a good look.
Turn
Alright.
to page 374.
Okay. So when you open the book, there's a couple of notes that are stuck between pages. Some read much like a journal of an adventure. So Matrius is saying, "By God, I finally found it. I finally, after 3 years of travel, I am finally on Fistandia's trail." Some notes become more paranoid, and like I feel like I'm like there's an entry like I feel like I'm being observed. This book is almost alive, cursed perhaps, or maybe it's the study, or maybe it's the library, or maybe it's the cursed monks. I can't trust anybody. Fistandia's secrets will be mine. And shortly after, they become to be written in code.
Ooh. Oh my.
So
Interesting.
I will note that after his paranoia, his notes stop being written on separate pages and are rather scribbled in a code on top of Fistandia's notes herself. Fistandia notes read as research. Her greatest goal was creating a permanent version of Pocket Dimensions. She specifically was consulting several people who were here at the time, who were here in Candlekeep at the time, who knew how bags of holding were made, as technically those are permanent extra-dimensional spaces. And she was trying to understand how Mordekainen constructed his original spells in hopes of mimicking that approach and creating her own. One of the last notes that you find in Fistandia's handwriting reads, "By gods, I might have made a huge discovery. I think the doorway might be finished. There are no more entries in her handwriting. There's also a lot of scribbles in the code note, like in Matrius's writings, and a couple of parts circled.
Query. Where is the person who wrote these additional notes into this book?
You see, Matrius, as I said, he came here specifically looking for this book, and he started doing his research, and he used to lock himself in a room for weeks, or maybe not weeks, if dozens of days, and last time he was in there for 3 weeks before we actually checked in on him, and to our surprise, we found that his study was empty. It was just this book and the notes that you see before you, a handful of other research material, but he was just gone.
I have
He
asked.
fell into this door. Maybe the door's in the book.
I have asked not because of what he may have discovered, but because it appears that he broke the fourth rule. And if it has not yet been carried out, it would seem that his execution is forthcoming upon his retrieval and finding.
No damaging, marking, or modifying of existing works. He clearly was scribbling
point.
inside somebody else's book.
No, he was scribbling inside somebody else's notes.
Oh, okay.
So
But
many
is that not still breaking the rule because that is a work that was in the library?
Existing works.
maybe. All I can say is maybe. All
Ah!
I can say. Unless you want to roll me some knowledge.
Yes, I will roll you some freaking knowledge. Hold on. Where is that? Oh god, I can't find it.
Intelligence.
Ah!
So I go by justifying. Like, you can justify whatever check you roll, but I will give you appropriate understanding from that perspective.
I'm kind of stupid.
Okay, so you understand what... like, wait a moment. Is putting notes is even, like... That hasn't been covered at our introduction, and you ask your friend, and he says... you see, actually, notes, unless entered as a separate collection, do not count as an entry to the library. So
And
technically...
these were not entered?
So technically, these were not entered as Festandia herself disappeared before finishing the notes and putting them into the library. Although, I gotta say, if one of the great readers wanted to prosecute you for this, he probably could.
So I want to take the book and start looking through the pages where they stop writing and see if I can... Because my thinking is that the secret door they're talking about is in the book itself.
Understood.
And so I want to see if I can perhaps unlock said door and, have it appear before us so that we can go through it ourselves.
All right. Arcana? Okay, so you notice the description, and so first you look at the original works on the pages, the Mordenkainen works. That part specifically describes how Mordenkainen weaved the part of the spell which allows you to draw a door and create it anywhere. Then Festandian notes seem to parallel some of the ingredients and some of the spell casting required into creating such a door. And of course you don't understand Matrius's notes, except you notice a pattern. Wait, that symbol always means Mercury. Oh wait, that symbol always means ritual. And then you slowly start working through... Yeah, his code is based on actual spellcasting. And you are able to decipher a small portion of the last page of his coded notes. You find command word, and then a word circled. The word is scepter.
I will point this out to everyone. and be like, I'm not sure if this is a code word to activate the door or if it's something else. But worth a shot.
Go for it.
Is this perhaps a situation where one would speak the word or one would find the word, the item referenced by the word?
We could try both.
Very
Well,
well.
shall we start with the simplest and just say it?
I will hold the book up and say, Scepter. That didn't seem to do anything.
No. So then, where do we go from here? Do we start looking for a scepter, or?
I might be able to fabricate one if you'll give me a moment.
Sure.
DM.
Yes.
Remember how we talked about my disguise kit?
Yes.
Would I be able to use that to fabricate a temporary scepter that could be used as a focus or whatever for this?
I won't allow it to be a spellcasting focus as defined by the rules.
Okay.
But I will allow you to have a cosmetic scepter. Yes.
All right, I'll take it. You hear some whirring and clicking happening inside of Arty, and all of a sudden, like the left side of his chest opens up, and there is a small, like costume jewelry kind of scepter that's like attached to the inside of his thing. He reaches in, pulls it out, hands it to you, and his chest closes.
Perhaps this will be of some use to you.
Thank
Okay.
you kindly. I will take it out and I will kind of wave it over the book and say, Scepter. This doesn't seem to be working. You have any ideas over there? He says,
Is there some kind
looking
of
at
like
Fimbrance.
spell that we need for this?
So,
Very.
Enid, you look back at the notes that you examined, and more and more you understand that he circled the part of Festandia notes that said doorway, and then he written in his own language, command word, scepter.
Maybe we have to find the doorway.
Also, I'll be back in
Yeah.
2 minutes.
I was hoping it was in this book, but apparently it's not. So we gotta find
Okay.
this doorway.
So,
Well,
then-
I mean, the doorway technically would it not be in the doorway where the book was lost?
That's quite possible.
okay, so out of character, there's like three ways that this could work. First, it could be that there's a specific doorway which we have to find, which would tend to make this spell, as it's supposed to be, it's like interplanar travel, less useful because you have to be. It only works in like one specific spot.
Mhm.
Although that is probably the most likely explanation. Second, it could be that you have to draw a doorway and then speak the code word, because then it would be useful anywhere. Or this could be playing out kind of like the hallway of doors in the Matrix, where like any door could technically be the thing, and as you go to open the door, you say scepter.
Okay. I think they're all worth a try. We could obviously start with the simplest options, and we have doors in the building with us. We could try
Yeah.
those.
And they technically already have a connection to some sort of extraplanar existence, so
Yeah.
that could
Okay,
be.
I feel like that would be a good way to go about it.
Beyond that, we have to go find this guy's workspace and be like, let us in, let us in.
Let me in! Let me in! Yes. Oh, you want the name of the guy? Hang on, I'll copy you the name of the guy. All right. So what we're doing? I heard some ideas while I was changing my insulin.
So I think the idea is to first try and use one of the doorways here to be like a conduit doorway. Then we're going to try and draw one. If that doesn't work, we're going to try and find this guy's workspace and try a doorway over there.
Yeah, I know. I heard all of it.
Okay.
Well, what are you doing?
We're gonna try a door first.
Any? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Tell me. Which
We
door?
walk-
What
We
thing?
walked to
Let's-
the door here.
Which door was the one that the guy went through and lost the book in?
Oh, it was that one.
This one? Okay, so then let's go over there. Let's try opening this door.
All right.
I'll walk
People
over
go
the
out
door
way.
and I'll walk over the door and knock on it.
Excuse me, is anyone inside?
You see, people explain to you, you gotta buy the key first for 5 gold from the barkeep. The doors
Was
don't open
unaware.
otherwise.
Ah, I was merely trying to be polite.
I look over at Fimbris. Fimbris, you got us on that one. This is your mess, after all.
He's like, he goes, oh jeez, oh no, that's like my entire area. Like, yes. Oh, he goes like, hey, big boar, can I borrow a key, please?
While,
Look.
while he's doing that, I'm going to turn to the rest of the group and be like,
I believe with his recent declaration that it is wise for us to not become avowed, as apparently the pay is paltry and not even good enough to to sustain life here within their own city.
He basically like whimpers in front of Big Boar. And no, his name is spelled with an A, not an E. But he's like, fine for you, young one. Here, just bring it right back. And he runs and he gives you the key.
All right, Arty, this is your idea.
Unintentionally displacing several chairs, let's say.
This was your idea, Arty, so you do the honors.
Very well.
Artie will take the key and again we'll knock on the door.
Attention, we are attempting to come into your place. Brace yourselves.
He'll reach forward and he'll unlock the key and say,
Scepter.
and he'll push open the door.
Okay, you clock the door. Actually, yeah, no way. There you go. You open a door to what seems like a room with a pretty well carved circular table, several comfy chairs surrounding it, and an unlit fireplace on the other side.
Is this what we are looking for?
He looks
Well, I
in and
don't see anyone, so
he lines the Fenris once. Is that his name? I already forgot him.
Fembris.
Fimbris.
Fimbris. He goes to like he gets halfway through the door and he kind of lines his eye, with the seam of the door frame, and he's like, I don't see anything.
Is this
Okay,
what these-
well, I mean, since this didn't work, what's our next option?
I mean, we could try drawing the door.
We could. Do we draw the door with the scepter?
That just seems silly.
It
Oh,
certainly would not
okay.
hurt.
What do I got? I actually have some ink that I could dip the scepter in.
Could do that.
Let's do it.
All right. Do we do that here in
I've
the
been
room?
trying to eat your tokens. Never mind me.
Are we doing this here in the room or are we doing this elsewhere?
Yeah, why not?
All right.
We're here.
Oh boy,
take the-
you do know that this will be more weird because you are technically in an extra dimensional space right now.
I'll
It's
make it
fine.
just ought to make it easier for us, right? We don't know where we're supposed to be going.
Yep.
I will dip the scepter in the ink and I will draw on the door that we just came through on the inside of it.
Yep.
Is everyone ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Let's go.
I will touch the uninked side of the scepter to the drawing of the door, and I will say,
Scepter.
All right. So the room starts to shake and crackle, and almost like it feels like almost gigantic gears or dimensions of space itself are folding. And you know what? I'm only gonna give it to you because because I rolled a secret number on the D100.
okay.
And the door in front of you starts to crackle and almost breaking like glass, like Doctor Strange weird nonsense. The flat surface is breaking into fractaling glass. And there seems to be a draft that's going under the door. Or maybe into it. Oh wait, it's stronger. Oh my god, it's getting really strong!
Getting really strong now, you guys.
Oh no.
You're all sucked in. Congratulations, you're all dead. Bye, that's the end of the campaign.
I would like to put out that I was never truly alive.
Alright. You wake up in a weird room. And a man is standing in front of you, startled.
Is this the guy that we're supposed to be looking for? Like, who is this?
He does look like a generic sage, yes.
Enid,
Huh.
it is
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say.
you are not the friend that I brought with me.
Oh yeah. Oops.
We're good.
Greetings to you, sir.
So,
Where are we?
you find yourself waking up on a hardwood floor in what seems to be a hallway of a reasonably fancy mansion. Oh, you know what? We're gonna turn Explorer mode on. Yeah. 1 second.
What in tarnation's going on here?
All right. So, this guy is startled, entirely, entirely just thrown out of any expectation that he had. His hair seems unkempt, and clothing ragged. The only sounds in this otherwise eerily quiet mansion are the sounds of your voices. He corrects his glasses and stands up and like, oh my goodness, you found a way. Somebody found a way. He stands up and dusts himself. Well, who are you people?
Then they're your notes we followed.
Yeah.
How rude. You have not answered this question. I am Construct 45871-2, Artificial Bard, designation Arty. Who are you?
Arty, it's not always wise to give your name right off the bat like that.
Well, I'm Matrius, of course.
Matrius.
I'm so delighted you found your way in, but I have some terrible news for you.
Is it that we don't have a way out?
Yeah, you're now trapped too.
Yeah.
You
Can we
see,
not-
months ago, I figured out the command word. I've scoured every inch of Festandia's study place. I knew the door was here. The door was there, but I didn't know how to activate it. I scoured all her books, the entire chained cabinet. But I finally figured out a way in. It was only to my surprise that I went through that the portal is very temporary, and it closed right behind me. And for the last what seems like a decade, but maybe a week, maybe months, I've been trying different passwords. And I haven't figured it out yet. The doors refuse to budge, and he nervously chuckles and corrects his hair. So I guess, welcome. Do not go into any rooms.
Did you try the word backwards?
Yes, that was one of the first tries. He takes a, he digs through a pocket and takes out a piece of what seems to be like a wizard's cloak that has been torn off, and many, many, many words are scribbled onto it.
What about an Enneagram?
I tried a couple, but you see, this place, this must be a trove of information. Festandia clearly finished her spell. I wonder what else she must have buried here. You see, I would, myself would much like to explore some of this mansion, but I am much needed in Candlekeep. Yes, very much needed, so, if you were to perhaps find a way out and then explore some of this, we could, yes, we could definitely come to an agreement. Yes, definitely.
Your terms are acceptable.
Yeah, there's, the rooms are dangerous. I went into some of them and seems like almost the mansion itself was trying to rid me of my, head. But I managed to snatch this. And he shows you a tiny figurine. He shows you a little carving. He gives you a little... He shows you in his hand a little carving of an imp made from onyx. You see, if that's here, what kind of other treasures could be? They could find my research for years, decades even.
So this is considered a treasure, a tiny little figure.
Well, you see, it's made of onyx, and the carving is positively marvelous. I am sure it would sell for a pretty good coin.
Uh-huh.
You see his hands are almost shaking, and you see the part of the clothing where he was attacked kind of drenched in definitely weeks old stale blood.
When was the last time you ate, feller?
The cats heard some rats. I've managed to catch a couple and bite on their head. Managed to survive. The time in this place is weird. You don't seem to require nourishment as often.
I'll hand him a ration. It seems your blood sugars are mighty low.
I would like to point out to you, sir, that your estimation of the value of this object may be incorrect. It was pointed out to me by my creator that the value of an object is only that which you can convince someone else to pay you for it. Hence, I was deemed a failure.
He's just kind of he's not even listening at you at this point. He is tearing with his teeth the ration packaging open.
What are the list of words he's tried?
It's a long list. It's all the obvious ones. So, Festadius mentioned, now that you have a chance to look around, was created obviously using a more than kind and magnificent mention spell, and made permanent by Festandia's own enchantments. It's luxurious, but not ostentatious. The structure is open, airy, and constructed of stone blocks. The floors are hardwood, and the bedroom, study, trophy room, and dining room have carpets that cover most of the floor space in these rooms. The mansion has brass or bronze fixtures, and doors of iron-bound oak. The furniture is all of deep brown wood, and most of the rooms are illuminated by oil lamps. You see several doors. That's a door. That's a door. That's a door. That's a staircase. That's a door. And that's a door.
That's adorable.
I hate you so much. I'm kidding. Mostly.
Well, being fascinated with everything, like this whole dimensional transport thing, Lichorn is just like taking a very careful look around this entire place, just to
Absolutely.
just to see things. Not all perception for that.
I mean, so first you notice that the floors of the rooms are covered with not thick, but still noticeable indigo mist.
The floors of the rooms.
There's almost like a carpet of mist that follows everywhere, that precipitates near the flooring and forms a noticeable but not very, obstructing indigo blanket.
I would like to attempt to touch it to see if I can gain any
Okay,
more
one sec.
information.
Yes, but the ceiling arches to 15 feet overhead, and long hallways stretch out on either side of the foyer. Standing in the middle of this area is a middle-aged man wearing gray robes, who you've met. The foyer gives way to a long hallway that runs the length of the mansion, with several doors on the wall opposite to the entrance. You may do whatever you wish.
I was gonna attempt to touch the areas where like the mist is to see if I can get. any
You
more
can
information.
scoop it. It slowly
Scoop it.
flows out of your hand. It seems weird but harmless. It's definitely peculiar.
Do I need to roll investigation to see if I can get anything more, or is that it?
No, that's all you can get by touching it.
Okay. Like I just like pick it up a few times and let it roll out of my hands, just kind of fascinated with everything.
Yeah, it's like trying to scoop a cloud, you know. So Matria says, you see, if you find the notes, she must have kept notes here. Yes, must have. If you find her notes, if I can open this. I can keep the portal open from the outside. If you wish to peruse the possessions of this mansion. But first we must escape. Yes, we must escape. Yes, please. Thank you for your meal. Let's consider our options. And he's like, Lichorn, can you move down, please? He says, I found this room to be one of the safer ones. So he opens this door. Oh, come on, roll 20. Why are you so terrible? And he goes into it. And the moment he walks into the middle of the room, the door seems to start moving on its own and slams shut, causing him to shriek loudly.
Alright.
This seems problematic.
So what are we doing? Do we
I have
Do we go in
no
there?
idea. This guy seems to be a nutcase.
Yeah, I agree. He seems pretty crazy.
He is the one who made the notes which got us to this place. He is our best chance for getting back out.
Is he though, considering he's been stuck here this whole time?
Oh my
Your
god, the
point is
draft.
Maybe
The draft's in this place. Are you guys coming?
Are we? Are we coming?
Yeah, the mansion is almost alive. Yeah, it likes to play jokes on you. I am losing my mind.
The entire charge been lost, feller.
The entire far wall of this room is a floor-to-ceiling bookshelf. Even more books are resting on several large scarlet armchairs and small wooden tables. On these are several paintings on the walls. A fluffy black cat is curled up on one of the curtains.
Oh my.
When you enter the room, the cat sits up and meows plaintively and approaches.
It's
Where are your
it's
sounds
cat.
when I need you?
I have a thing. Upon seeing the cat, Artie will walk over to it and immediately try to begin petting it. Immediately,
Okay.
like no hesitation.
Hello, kitty. I am Arty. May I pet your soft fluffiness?
And he'll stretch out a finger like very invitingly to try and get it like to boop.
Animal handling.
Animal handling.
Artie, we're really gonna have to
Can you
work
handle
on
the
your,
animal?
I'm gonna find out. Yes.
We're really gonna have to work on you not talking to strangers and giving your name right out.
All right, the cat goes right up underneath your fingers and starts purring.
I am
It-
tremendously honored.
It seems
Allow me to
it
pet
jumps
you.
onto your shoulder and seems to be climbing you, almost like curious, sniffing you, with a sense that it hasn't smelled in a very long time. It seems to want to follow you now.
Artie is quivering with joy, or whatever equates to it for him being a construct.
Oh, I have a sound. I have a sound for it.
So
That sounds inappropriate.
So it sounded
okay.
appropriate.
All right.
Can we agree that was from my soundboard?
Nope. Nope.
No, I'm sorry.
Cannot
You cannot.
confirm.
Self-deprecating jokes, the best.
He is attempting to approximate purring. How about that?
Yes, that's what you
As-
get.
As a master performer, I assume that's something within his skill set.
Yes.
Yikes.
He is thrilled to have a cat
Not
to pet.
making the joke that I just thought of. Not making the joke.
I think I
Alright.
know where you're going with that.
So, yeah, the cat will follow you.
This is such a win.
Does there seem to be some sort of study or something around here?
This is the
Place where
study.
notes would be kept. This is the okay. That doesn't. I presume since you seem to think this is the safest room, you've scoured this entire area.
Yes, I've made my own notes, and you see some of the books. He was writing on like the inside of the covers, but later on you see like flat out ripped out pages from the books that are just scribbled all over, like completely chaotically. You can trace a progression of how desperate he got here. He found some stuff about it. There's 3 paintings. He says, the only thing I couldn't figure out is this book. This book, it had a letter. It has a letter on the spine, but it has no contents. I tried my spells. I tried scrying, but can't seem to find anything. He's like, unless, hang on. And he takes. Did you bring my notes?
Did we bring his notes? I was.
Yeah, we can say that you have.
I mean, technically, Artie's seen them. He could recreate them from memory.
Okay,
Probably.
let's just say that you have. Maybe. Okay, I've seen more of these books. He hands you the book with the letter I on its spine. What if I do this? And he starts drawing on his notes. So I understand. And you see him casting a spell, and these doors open. On the other side of the door, you see this.
Is that a... Wait a second. That book also has Nikolai Lenin on the cover.
Well, you were supposed to. You were not supposed to be able to enter through anywhere but the actual location of the door. But I rewarded your efforts, and I rolled very high on the D100.
Gotcha.
And he just becomes ecstatic. He's like, finally, freedom. However, the moment he steps on the other side, the tiny little black figurine he was holding,
Yes.
starts moving
Uh-oh.
and transforms into one of these.
I knew that was gonna happen.
And when it does, it says a word that you only understand if you speak Infernal, and the doors actually shut on you, leaving you inside Dimension. Which you will explore next time. Now that you're properly stuck in here.
Do not worry, Kitty. We will make it through this together.
Like, the cat is like the best thing ever, because I threw it on my character sheet like 2 months ago when I made Arty, that he has a deep love and fascination with cats and tries to pet them whenever he sees them, and
Just made
then there's just a cat. What?
You just made yourself then.
It was perfect. Like, and I didn't tell you. It's just I don't think I shared my character sheet with you either. So it's just like it was just sitting
it's in
on
the
there.
module. It's officially in the module.
And so I just happened to encounter a cat, and it's great.
That's what we have. Now, you're stuck in a dimension. And he knew the answer. He clearly opened the door, but none of you are watching. And the figurine turned into Imp, which said a word in Infernal, which closed the door. Now, you must find the rest of the books that he hinted towards and deconstruct the puzzle to escape this precarious situation.
Sounds fun.
Now, is the imp on the other side of the door or on our side of the door?
He wrapped his stinger around Matrius's neck once he was outside, like once he was in Matrius's hands outside of this prison.
Gotcha.
And shouted a word that I understand none of you understand.
Yeah, I do not speak
That dude's
Infernal.
super dead.
Yeah, Infernal is not one of my four languages.
I do speak Infernal, just not in this form.
Yes, just not on this character sheet.
I mean, so I have a weird thought. Arty specializes in like impersonations. Would he be able to just try and parrot the word without understanding its meaning?
Maybe.
Would that be a performance check?
Yes.
That would be a next time check.
Okay.
I'll still roll it. I want to see.
Curious DM is curious.
Nope.
You mumble
just-
something that resembles the screams of the innocent, but you know. That's it. That about what you get. Also, I will tell you, out of character, the word that he used is meant for closing, for forcing it closed. So don't waste
Okay.
your time next time. It's not a password.
It's worth a shot.
Matrius, however, with the notes that you brought him, and with whatever books that he saw here, managed to figure out how to get out. Perhaps the puzzle. Perhaps you have all the pieces of the puzzle, and we'll just have to venture forth and find what he saw in this mansion. Or starve to death in a couple of decades. Also that.